Live from the Acres Broadcast Center inside East Stadium, this is the Husker Athletic Director Show with Trev Alberts. Sports Nightly is presented by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who reminds you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Padilla gets the snap. Huskers do not blitz. Back to throw is Padilla. Steps, throws, passes, intercepted by Nebraska at the 36-yard line by Chris Kolarvik. Coming back home to the state of Iowa for Kolarvik, a pick to end the game, and that will end the 7-year streak the Huskers have suffered at the hands of the Hawkeyes.
Here come the Huskers. The setter hat with the first touch. Bump set to the right. Krause for the win. She got it. They did it. Call the grandkids. Nebraska to the Sweet 16. 26-24. Big run of the fourth. Takes down the Kansas Jayhawks.
This is going to be one of the biggest wins in school history. Half-court shot doesn't go in there. And Nebraska has knocked off Maryland. Hugs and tears at half-court. 90-67, Nebraska wins at 20th ranked Maryland. Let the celebration begin, Husker Nation.
And that's going to wrap it up, my friends. 13 seconds left to go. Huskers are going to win for the first time in Omaha since Jake Muehlheisen did in 2004 in an NIT game against the Blue Jays, and for the first time in the regular season winning in Omaha for the first time since 1995. Griesel brings it across the timeline. Take that monkey off our backs.
Here is your host, Greg Sharpe, on the Huskers Radio Network.
Thank you, and welcome to our monthly sit-down with Athletic Director Trev Alberts. If you want to be a part of the program tonight, here are the numbers, 402-413-2400. You can give us a call or fire off a text. Glad to pass those text questions along to Mr. Alberts. And, man, there just seems like a lightness about you, a little like there's just kind of a freedom compared to when you were here last month. Has something changed in the last 30 days, Trev?
Well, yeah, a little bit changed, and so we've actually gotten a little sleep over the last several days, and it's been very good. But no, thrilled that Coach Rule is our coach, and we got through that, and working with him as he's putting together his staff, just that new, renewed sense of energy and passion and wonder at being a part of the Husker family is pretty cool.
You oversaw the longest coaching search in school history.
I'd like to apologize for that.
Well, no, but take us through that. What was that like? What did you learn, and how did you probably learned a lot going through that process?
Well, I really did. You know, let's be honest. I mean, I've hired coaches before, but I've not hired a coach, in this magnified of a role, if you will. And so I think the thing that was most interesting to me is there was 9 games left in the season. I mean, we basically had the entire football season, Greg. And so it in the one sense, it gave us a real opportunity. And so we got to really sit down and kind of first think about, and this was important to me, we got to first be honest with ourselves about where we currently reside. You know, what is our current position? And some of it's ugly, some of it's not good, but if you don't have the courage to define that, it's hard to move forward. So we got to put all that together, got to put the priorities in place, and then get to work. And the thing that was most, comforting to me was, in spite of what our record had been over the last several years, the amount of respect that people have for the University of Nebraska and what our brand stands for and our past was really, really strong. Obviously, there's been some things that have changed in terms of the Big Ten and those types of things, but being a member of the Big Ten was certainly good for us. But a fascinating process. Talked to a lot of people, as I said earlier, weren't coaching candidates, but I wanted to talk to current ADs in other conferences about their process and what they learned. And so I needed to be a sponge because I wanted to do the best job I possibly could, and I had a lot of help in the process as well, and I'm glad where we ended up.
It was really interesting when Matt mentioned that he kind of did a stealth visit to Lincoln during the search.
Yeah. How
key was that, do you think, to convince him and his family that this might be a good fit for them?
Well, I kind of took this approach a little bit like, the recruiting process of student athletes. And, when you think about official visits, Generally, if you can be either the first official visit or the last, you got the best chance of getting them to commit. And so I wanted to be the first. And so as quickly as we could, I also knew that there was a family and vacation involved with Matt and Julie, and they were going to go out of the country. And so I wanted to get him here to Lincoln because I've always believed, and I continue to believe, that whether it's a student athlete, prospective student athlete, or a coach or a staff, if we want to acquire great talent here, it's wonderful to look at pictures. It's wonderful to do things via Zoom. But if you get them here, people are blown away by our state, and they're blown away by Lincoln. They're blown away by the investment of our community and our fan base and what our facilities look like. And I'd also say blown away by our staff. One of the things that it wasn't just Matt and his wife who came here. Matt's agent came and wanted him to see our facilities and walk around. And the common theme was there's a standard here. There's an expectation here. And so little things like, what does our concourse look like when it's not a football game, right? Just during the week. Is it clean? How do we care for our facilities? What kind of stewards are we of the Husker family? And we got a staff here that takes that really seriously. And that made a real difference in being able to acquire Matt and Julie Rule and their family to come to Lincoln.
He's been on the job a little over 2 weeks. What have you observed from him in the last 14, 15 days? I know he hasn't been here a whole lot.
Yeah, well, we talk all the time, obviously, and he just checked in with me again this afternoon. I'm approving all of these flights all over the world with these assistant coaches. It's obviously a really chaotic time right now for him with the early signing date. And but what I've observed is what I anticipated is these guys are workers and really passionate. I should probably let Matt say this, but I'll say it anyway. Sorry. He said one of the things that's been really amazing to him and the staff is being out on the road recruiting is just how well respected Nebraska is. And that's been something that's really been encouraging to him. And so they've had a great reception out on the recruiting trail. I think that's been really good. So watch them work as a staff in putting together that first official visit weekend here, the attention to detail, a lot of those things. I mean, they've got very high expectations, a professionalism. And I knew that Matt would have lots of questions and ideas, but he'd do it in a professional manner. So I think he's thrilled so far, and so are we. We got a lot of work to do. Obviously, we're undefeated, and so everybody's happy right now.
He's been in pro football for a couple years, and there's been some changes to the college landscape since then. Yeah. Have you had to work on educating him some on NIL and some of the things that have changed with college sports?
Well, he did a lot of that work himself prior to actually getting hired. I mean, that entire time after he was let go by Carolina, he was working on this. But really am pleased with our staff. Jonathan Bateman and Jamie Vaughn in our compliance office has worked really hard with Matt to help make sure that he understands. But he's been working proactively on his own strategic vision on how to apply NIL. A lot of coaches have different philosophies on how they want to utilize those things, and obviously getting him integrated with the two collectives that we have will be really important, and having him understand and create those relationships. So, it's a collaborative team. It's got to be cohesive. It has to have consistent communication, and of course, it's one of his key qualities as a leader is he's obviously a tremendous communicator, and his ability to do that is going to help him manage what that vision looks like relative to NIL and the portal.
Trev, there's been a handful of other hirings around the country in the last couple of weeks. It's been fascinating to listen to some of these coaches attack this very topic, and some say they really don't have much of an interest to participate in that. Do you feel that way, or do you feel like this is something you have to wrap your arms around a little bit?
We're at the University of Nebraska. We intend on being leaders at everything, and so whatever college athletics throws our way, we're going to first define the challenge, look at the opportunity, and then we'll work collaboratively to create a solution to try to be one of the best at it. And so not only are we interested in it, we're going to participate in it at a high level. We're going to do it the right way, but we're going to empower our student athletes and our coaches. And I like the plan that we have in place. I like the focus. And certainly it's not the end-all be-all, but I will say it's an important tool that we need to consider along with everything else. So we're really interested in it, and I'm grateful if those other schools aren't interested.
Got a big birthday coming up here in Lincoln next year, and you made some news earlier today that we're about to celebrate the 100th anniversary of this glorious stadium, Memorial Stadium, which you played in during your playing days, and you made a big announcement about tickets. Let's let everybody hear what this is all about.
Yeah, our team got together and we thought, what can we do immediately? And obviously this is, just a small token of our appreciation. We've got a much larger vision that we're working with our committee on Memorial Stadium, and we're going to look more holistically at all of our pricing. We're going to look more holistically at our seat licensing fees for all of those different areas and how the stadium works in terms of equity. But what could we do immediately right now to celebrate 100 years? And so we threw a lot of ideas around, and ultimately so what if we just lowered our season ticket prices by $100? And everybody kind of looked at each other, and we said, let's do it. And meanwhile, the CFO looked at me like, what are you doing? But no, it's really important to all of us. And so, again, it's a really small. Our fans have been through with us every step of the way through all of our challenges, ups and downs. And again, not to overstate this, but we just thought it'd be a nice token. We're going to look for additional ways and opportunities to celebrate 100 years of Memorial Stadium. You'll see more of those types of things come out. I think we've got a book that's going to commemorate 100 years of Husker football. Obviously, we're going to be releasing the new and updated original version of Herbie Husker as part of this 100-year anniversary as well, and moving forward. So we'll have the new mascot. So just want to do all we can to celebrate what makes Nebraska special, and we thought the best thing that we could do is lower season ticket prices by 25% for next season, and then we'll take a more broad look holistically at all of our pricing, how it all operates, what's the amenity levels. But this was something we could do immediately.
Last month, you had mentioned that they're looking at doing something for the east balcony, maybe even as soon as for next season.
Yeah.
Any update on that?
Yeah, we are moving forward with the east balcony. And so that's going to be important that we do a good job of communicating there. I think we've sent out the hard letters that I signed to each of the folks who have been out. We'll get an email out. We'll get all the information as best we can. But ultimately what happened, and this is not part of the holistic vision of the stadium either. We had some challenges relative to waterproofing, that section needed some maintenance, and so we felt like we couldn't wait, and so we wanted to move forward. And as part of that, we made the decision to transition the east balcony into basically a new club level. So that's going to mirror the West Club, and so that's all going to be converted into club level seats. It makes a lot of sense. It has the easy access there. So we're going to have a reduction of a little over 600 seats in that east balcony. And so this is going to affect, obviously, a lot of folks. You're going to have the seat licensing requirements the same as the west side. And so we'll do a good job of communicating that. We'll reach out and we'll personally make phone calls to everybody that's sitting in that section. Obviously, we're not going to be removing anybody. Everybody will have the option if they'd like to stay in the east balcony. Just the pricing structure will look a little bit different, and that's an area that some of our fans are already making those donations and can stay. Others will say, not interested in that donation. We'll find a different seat for them that's more appropriate. But yeah, we'll have that work done prior to the 23 season, so that east balcony will all be transitioned into club seats.
It's the newest part of the stadium, but it takes on a lot of weather up there, doesn't it?
It really does, yeah. And I've been down there a little bit. By the way, the band and those students take on a lot of the weather too. And so, it does take a lot, and we really needed to do this a year ago, frankly, and we kind of held off because I wanted to see whether the entire stadium project would move forward, but we just can't wait. So we'll move forward and get that waterproofing done and transitioning those into chairbacks and club seats.
Dorothy Lynch, homestyle, light and lean dressing, endless flavorabilities. Trev Alberts with us for the entire hour. 402-413-2400, the number to dot us up with a comment or question. Let's go to Plattsmouth and start off tonight with Drew. Good evening, Drew. You're up with Trev.
Oh, hi, Trev. First off, I just want to congratulate you on a great search and getting our guy. I really like what Coach Rule has to say and super excited. My question is, both you and Coach Rule have mentioned you want Nebraska to be the premier developmental program in the country. With the transfer portal and kids moving so quickly and easily, I guess how do you overcome that obstacle to keep kids in the program long enough to really develop them and prevent them from transferring and losing so many kids? So I'll just hang up and listen to your thoughts. Thanks.
Thank you, Drew. I really appreciate you calling. It's a great question, and being a development program, given the new realities of college athletics, does take on a different sort of vision. The reality is, whether they're a 0-star or a 5-star, development has to happen with whatever level of student athlete you're bringing into your program. And so I really believe that, I think it's really more of philosophy. It's a mentality. It's about the development of the fundamentals, not just football specific, but development relative to strength and conditioning, all those types of things. So, we'll get student athletes here who want to max out. We're going to find student athletes, and it can't just be about the football component. It's academics, it's life skills. This is a place that you ought to be able to come and know that if you do the work, when you leave here, this place will develop you into the best athlete, the best student, the best socially, spiritually, all of those things, and you can max out and walk out of here the best you possibly can be with a God-given talent that you've been given. And so that's sort of the development piece that I anticipate. And by the way, we find that if that development piece is there and people are seeing themselves grow, and that's part of the culture, then it's easier to maintain those as part of your program as well.
Drew, appreciate the phone call. Buckle up, put the phone down. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office, a text from Sam in Omaha for you, Trev. Sales pitch, 100-year anniversary uniforms to commemorate the first-year Memorial Stadium. Little throwback uniform to 1923. Run that by your Adidas friends.
I can't go too far, but we may or may not have a throwback uniform at some point. We have one every year, right?
We do.
So
we do.
There may or may not be some reference to the fact that it's 100 years old. But great idea. In fact, I've had other great ideas. My good buddy Jim Rose texted me and said, what about throwback prices for concessions? And go back to 1923. It's a quarter for everything. Well, we'll see what ends up happening. But I just think it is a great time, not only for us who work in the athletic department, but all of our fans to just sort of reflect a little bit on 100 years of Husker football and how blessed and privileged we are to have the facility we have and the kind of support we have. And we're going to do the best we can internally to recognize that and honor it.
Sam, we're glad you offered up that. That's a good thought. Keep them coming. Let's get one more caller before we go to our first break. Back to Omaha and Mark. Good evening. Mark, you're up with Trev.
Oh, thank you. I was just wanting to ask if they're going to work on the parking situation at Devaney, since some of the lots are unpaved and it gets really muddy and dusty and dirty, and it isn't really up to par with the rest of Devaney.
Mark, thank you. And by the way, thank you for going to volleyball games and parking in the gravel lots. But you're 100% right. The parking is not appropriate. And quite frankly, at some point, it would be great if we had a parking garage over there somehow, some way. And it's not a solution I have. I don't have any answer today or any solutions to the challenge, but you are correct. And as part of Innovation Campus continues to grow and we're building that out, eventually a more detailed and strategy around parking will emerge. Today, we don't have that strategy, and I agree with you, Mark. It's not appropriate. It's not to the quality it needs to be. And we'll keep working on that.
Tough week here. Final Four in Omaha, volleyball not there. Have you talked to Coach Cook? Your thoughts about the way their season went?
Yeah, I did talk to John, and obviously he's disappointed, but so much of the season, I guess, as I said a long time ago in multiple shows, we got to be careful that we don't take volleyball for granted. Our volleyball program, we're all disappointed, right? We're not in Omaha. We're going to finish probably in the top 10 again this year, so let's not take that for granted. It was a unique season for him in terms of some of the injuries and challenges that the team faced. But I know that he was really focused and the team was focused on trying to find a way. And it's just shocking to me that we're entering here without a Big Ten team in Omaha playing volleyball. But, John will be back. John, had a great year. We're going to sit down face-to-face. We always do it at the end of the season, talk a little bit about what are we doing well? What can we do better? What can I do better administratively? And what kind of support is necessary? But things are bright for our volleyball program.
402-413-2400. That is our Sports Nightly hotline, brought to you by Woodhouse, where you can shop your way from one of the 16 convenient locations or online at woodhouse.com anytime with 18 brands and a huge selection of pre-owned. You can always find what you are looking for with Woodhouse. When we come back, an announcement about the future of Husker football. We'll get into that next.
Nebraska Innovation Campus creates partnerships between business and the University of Nebraska. Partners lease office space, laboratories, pilot plants, and greenhouses, all centrally located with easy access to University of Nebraska talent and resources. Nebraska Innovation Campus, creating spaces and culture that inspire. Learn more at innovate.unl.edu.
Greatness doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, focus, and dedication. At Shelter Insurance, we understand that because we put in the hard work and dedication for decades. And that commitment is paid off with award-winning customer service for your auto, home, and life insurance. Visit shelterinsurance.com and find an agent to help you choose the coverage you need. Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
You've got options when you shop pre-owned with Woodhouse. Over 1,000 cars, trucks, and SUVs inspected and road ready, with a team ready to tackle all your needs and wants to get you the perfect vehicle. Plus, with financing options and extended warranty coverage options, Woodhouse makes purchasing your next vehicle an easy one-stop shop in dealership or online, bringing you more every time since 1975. Shop Woodhouse.
Families who travel to Nebraska's only Ronald McDonald House are facing extremely uncomfortable situations. Their child is sick in an unfamiliar city, unsure of how to handle it all. But when they walk in the Ronald McDonald House, they can find comfort in the little things. A quiet moment away from the bombardment of beeps and buzzes in a hospital room. The taste of a home-cooked meal. A calming voice saying it'll be okay. Help us provide the little things that make a big difference. Support a one-night stay for a family in need by visiting rmhcomaha.org/Huskers.
It's harvest special time, and you can save $3 per foot or $3,900 per quarter-mile system now on a TNL pivot system. Pivots worked long hours this season battling dry weather to save top-dollar corn and soybean crops. But did your pivots work like no other? If not, it's time to invest in a reliable, safe, low-maintenance TNL irrigation system. Hydrostatic drives move these durable workhorses continuously across fields. So get an irrigation system that works as hard as you do. Contact TNL Irrigation, your local TNL dealer, or visit us online at TLIRR.com. TNL irrigation systems like no other.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Agriculture is the economic engine of the Midwest. At Acres Equipment, we dedicate ourselves to making that engine run smoothly. We supply our farmers and ranchers with quality John Deere equipment, parts, and service. We also deliver the most advanced technology and precision ag strategies to help them farm today and for the future. Acres Equipment, solutions for every field.
Bank of the West is offering the first checking account designed for climate action. It gives back 1% of the account's net revenue to the planet at no cost to you. Shows you the estimated carbon impact of debit card purchases. And there's no minimum balance required. Learn more at bankofthewest.com/1%. Additional conditions apply. Member FDIC.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
Farmers Mutual of Nebraska is proud to support Husker athletics. Having a confident teammate beside you makes all the difference when it comes to protecting what matters most. With a proven track record of dependable coverage, unmatched financial strength, and a prompt claim service team right here in Nebraska, that's insurance kept local. Visit FMNE.com to contact an agent for a quote today. Farmers Mutual of Nebraska, always alongside you.
Every day, Central Valley Ag works with our farmers to feed a hungry planet. CVA's Elite Acre gives growers assurance of profits and margins in volatile global markets. Manage your risk. Lock in your ROI through CVA's Elite Acre comprehensive programs. Register to win up to $10,000 of risk mitigation when you go online to cvacoop.com. Our planet is hungry. Together, we feed it. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
Cornoyer throws to a screen and roll. Cat Wheeler blocked. Markowski blocked it. She's doing it all. Widener throws it ahead. Maddie Kroll didn't get her feet set correctly. Out to Moriarty for three. You betcha. Off the assist from Maddie Kroll. Kalo's on fire. That's a career-high third triple.
Hey, Huskers fans, tomorrow, join us for Sports Nightly as head coach Amy Williams hosts the Nebraska Women's Basketball Show at 7 p.m. Tune into your local affiliate or at Huskers.com or by using the Huskers mobile app. Go Big Red.
We're back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres. They are the Midwest's premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres solutions for every field. It is our athletics director show for the month of December. Trev Alberts with us until the top of the hour. The numbers, if you want to be a part of the program with a call or a text, 402-413-2400. I ran into Husker football royalty today in the hallway. Tommy Frazier was walking around here today. Good to see him. I had not seen Tommy in a while.
Yeah, it was great to see Tommy. Got to spend a little time with him and walk him down the second floor. And Coach Satterfield was in there. I think he's got a visit in Omaha. So he's one of the few coaches that are actually in the office here. And I think it had been a while since Tommy was back. I saw him down in Las Vegas at Zach Wiegert's College Football Hall of Fame. And so Tommy's doing well. He's, still loves Husker football, and I know you enjoyed spending some time with him as well.
Yep.
But, yeah.
Good to see him. I mentioned going to the break. You've got an announcement about the future of Husker football. You know the date of the spring game, right?
Yeah, so, I know a lot of people have a great interest in the spring game and making sure they get that date on their calendar. So looks like it's going to be April 22nd. So April 22nd will be the spring game this year. We're assuming it's going to be at 1 o'clock. Obviously, we're going to work with the Big Ten Network. It's likely to be on the Big Ten Network, so that could be altered just a little bit. But wanted to make sure folks could get that on their calendar. Obviously, new coaching staff, be some new players, and would love to have folks come out. So put that on your calendar, April 22nd.
Very good. You're right. People plan big events around that, weddings and that type of thing. So.
Well, there's a few of us in the Big Ten Conference that spend quite a bit of time in meetings helping the conference office understand that our fan bases, we need these schedules because our fan bases are scheduling weddings and other things around our schedules. So as soon as we can get these out, we need to get these out for the benefit of our fans.
Very good. All right, let's head to the phone. Let's go to South Dakota and David. Hello, David. You're up with Trev.
Hello.
Hi, David.
Thank you, Trev. I thought you were the best decision ever for Nebraska football and athletic programs. I know you came from a successful place where you were before. And my mom is a great Husker fan, I almost lost her this year, so it really would have crushed me. And my football coach had a picture with Tom Osborne, and I lost him last year. So, I've had my bouts with stuff. But I am so happy that Nebraska hired you because the football program was in disarray for so long. And please, I am so tired of Nebraska not being ranked in the top 10. Oh, man. We have the best program in the nation, academically, athletically, and everything else. And I am so thankful for you, Trev, that you took control of that program and the athletics there. Well, and I know we're going to be back on the top programs like Ohio State, Michigan, Alabama. I know we're going to get there with you. So thank you very much. God bless you, and keep everything going, okay? Thank you. God bless.
Well, thank you, David. I really appreciate your kind words. The reality is, and I think Coach Matt said this at the press conference, it won't be about one person. It'll be about all of us. It'll be about all of us having a unity of purpose and working together, working hard. But I'm with you, David. It's time for the University of Nebraska and our football program to take the necessary steps to become relevant again, and confident in this staff that they'll do the work to put the fundamental pieces in place that we can have a program you'll be really proud of, David. Thank you.
Text question for you, Trev. Heather in Lincoln, can you tell me what is going on when a scholarship athlete is awarded a particular endowed scholarship in honor of someone? I see these being done during breaks in the football game. Is it in addition to their scholarship? What exactly is it?
Well, it's actually providing funding for scholarships. So the University of Nebraska and our athletic department, obviously, we're paying for full freight for all the scholarships, whether they're international students, in-state student athletes, or out-of-state. So there's a limit to the scholarship amount that you can give them. That would be, an NCAA violation if we gave a double scholarship to somebody. But it's a kind donor or supporter who've stepped up to help fund the cost of the scholarship that the athletic department would ordinarily pay.
Like the Brooke Behringer scholarship type
That's
thing.
right.
Yeah. Good question, Heather. I didn't know that either. Let's go to Portland, Oregon, and Bruce. Hello, Bruce. You're up with Trev.
Hey, Trev. It's an honor to be able to talk to you. But basically my question is, as a lifelong Husker fan, where do you see this team, let's just say in about 5 years? I'm not asking you about wins or losses, but where do you want it?
Bruce, that's a great question, and I think what Bruce and others are starting to kind of gather is I really resist saying numbers of wins, and I know some folks get frustrated by that. But man, where I want this program to be is I want this program to consistently, be competing at the highest levels in the Big Ten Conference. I want, I know what our TV deals look like. When we're going to have that. Those windows at 2:30 on CBS, and we're going to have primetime games on NBC. I want the University of Nebraska being selected all the time, and big noon kickoff on Fox. I want to be in that prime game. I think that's what our role is in athletics. We're the institutional brand awareness group, right? The marketing group, and I think we can do a better job there. So, that's the type of program that you want to have. That's relevant nationally. And, when you're looking at the top 25 programs, you're going to bowl games consistently. And I think that's important. That's where we need to be.
Folks, buckle up, put that phone down. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. It got lost because of the excitement of Matt Rural being named the head coach. But a really nice win to end the season for the football program, to go to Iowa and win that game, first time in 7 years, to beat the Hawkeyes.
It felt so good, and to have the chance to be there, and was really grateful that staff got to enjoy that with the team. Because a lot of work went into that season, and it wasn't easy. It was up and down. Remember, this was an Iowa team that was competing for a Big Ten West.
Yeah.
So this is certainly on the road. And so for our team to go down there to play that well, I thought was really indicative of the kind of leadership that we had and the kind of character that we had on the team. So wonderful to see them get to enjoy that moment.
Bring that trophy back here.
It's sitting in the football offices right now.
Saw it today. All right, need to take a break. 402-413-2400. That is our Sports Nightly hotline, brought to you by Woodhouse, where you can shop your way from one of the 16 convenient locations or online at woodhouse.com anytime. 18 brands and a huge selection of pre-owned. You can always find what you are looking for with Woodhouse. More with Trev coming up next.
Can you name one thing that's more exciting than football in Nebraska? Okay, maybe not, but there's something that comes close. Scratch tickets from the Nebraska Lottery. That's right. Choose from a variety of play styles with huge top prizes. There's something fun for everyone. So, when football isn't on, pick up some scratch tickets from the Nebraska Lottery.
Play is good. Go play. Odds vary by game.
The name on the mailbox may say Smith, Myers, Baumgartner, or Johnson. But when you choose to plant with Rob Seco, it includes your name too, making you a stockholder in a company that's invested in you. With the simplicity that makes us easy to do business with, relationships that bring more to the table, the technology, traits, and genetics that take on local conditions, and people with the know-how to use it. At Rob Seco, the only stockholder we listen to is you.
Across the timeline to Tominaga, back to Griesel. Griesel on the right sideline, starts in, cut off. Tominaga, 3-ball on the way. Bang! Ba-ba-ba-bang-a-ring! Tominaga ties ties this puppy at 56.
Hey, Huskers fans, this Saturday, join us as Nebraska men's basketball battles Kansas State in Kansas City. Ken Pavelka and Jake Muehlheisen have the call at 5 p.m. Tune into your local affiliate or at Huskers.com or by using the Huskers mobile app. Go Big Red.
It's the Ford Shine Bright sales event, and Ford is helping you be a light for others this holiday season. Right now, get special offers on select Ford trucks and SUVs. Come in and choose a vehicle in stock, or simply place a custom order, lock in your rate, and you're protected. Hurry in to your local Ford dealer today and find the Ford vehicle that helps you shine bright all season long. Not all models, trims, or features may be available or may be subject to change.
There is no place like Nebraska, and there is no place that treats you like your home like Sapp Brothers. For over 50 years, Sapp Brothers has fueled America's heartland and has been a reliable partner to local farms, businesses, and Huskers fans across Nebraska, providing the highest quality fuel, lubricants, and propane, servicing your farming equipment, and welcoming guests into our travel centers. Visit www.sappbros.net. Sapp Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Huskers Athletics.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
It's more powerful than the legendary Husker option offense. More powerful than the black shirt defense. It's the sun, and you can harness its power with J-Tech Solar. J-Tech, the official solar energy experts of the Huskers, can help you shrink your energy bills and start saving money now. Solar power is clean, affordable, and it's dependable because the sun always shines on the Huskers. J-Tech Solar for your home, business, or agriculture energy needs. Visit jtechsolar.com.
As the Huskers head to halftime, Frank is off the couch and headed for the fridge. Ooh, but he can't make it because he is so cold. The furnace is out again. SOS, he screams, and calls SOS Heating and Cooling, his favorite Luxair dealer trusted since 1950. With Luxair, you get a free 10-year labor warranty with a new system. SOS Heating and Cooling.
SOS to the rescue. SOS. SOS.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
Dear gas prices, go take a hike. Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. The Toyota hybrid lineup brings efficiency with power, savings with style, and top-notch tech to keep you connected. Not to mention plush premium interiors and the most advanced Toyota safety features. So, now you know who you're talking to. Toyota, the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. Toyota, the brand with a hybrid or electric vehicle for every driver. Toyota, the brand that helps save you money at the pump. Now, let me ask you a question, dear gas prices. You really think you can stand in the way of the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years? Think again. Toyota Hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimates, CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
Celebrating 50 years in the commercial real estate development industry in Omaha and nationwide, Noddle Companies is proud to continue its tradition of supporting Husker athletics. Check out what's new in Omaha, which includes revolving recreation and the food hall at Zone 6 in Exarban Village. Another exciting project coming soon are the Blackstone Urban Row townhomes. Noddle Companies, creating long-term value through community development. For more information, visit noddlecompanies.com. Go Big Red.
We are back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. It's our athletic director show for the month of December. I understand you got a little bling this week delivered to you by the softball program, huh? What was this?
Well, it was wonderful. I had no idea. They just said that some softball players wanted to to meet with me. And so a little bit like the men's basketball players, when I presented the black shirt, they were like, well, what does this mean? Generally, when student athletes request to speak with you, you're a little bit worried, is something not right?
Yeah.
And they came in with Coach Ravel and presented me with a Big Ten championship ring that they were kind enough to make one for me. And just 3 outstanding young ladies. And we got a really, really outstanding softball program. We got a great leader and a great coaching staff for softball. And they've got a great nucleus back. And they've got a new playing surface of turf in the outfield. They're going to have a new padded wall out there with some new branding. So really looking forward to watching them play. And it was just really kind of them to do that.
You got a ring. We got some cookies from Coach Ravel today. She's
just in the giving mood. And by the way, they were warm when I got them.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Those are the best kind. Let's head to the phone. Let's go to Norfolk and John. Good evening, John. You're up with Trev.
Hey, how you doing, Trev?
I'm doing great, John. Thanks for calling.
Excellent. Hey, I had a question. I don't remember if this took place when Pliny was coaching, but there was like a class or something called Football 101 for females to take to learn about football. Has there been any thought? I would love to see something like this for the guys for volleyball. I absolutely love Husker volleyball. Not only Husker volleyball, but now I watch all kinds of college women's volleyball. And for me, I probably watch more of that than football. I get lost in rotations and all this stuff, and I would love to be able to go to something, with John Cook or whoever that explains volleyball basics.
Well,
just a thought.
No, it's a great thought, John. It's a great call. I think the Husker 101 deal was kind of started by Coach Darlington. George Darlington had a passion for teaching football and started out for women, but I think also transitioned into open to anybody. And I think a similar thinking around volleyball would be great. Like I said, I'm meeting with John, and I'm going to present it to him and say, hey, how do we engage our fans even more? Because I agree with you. I've learned a lot about other sports in my time here that I didn't know all the nuances to. And when you get that in-depth knowledge of each of these individual sports, you have a better appreciation also of the individual talent of those student athletes based on what you know on the structure of what they're doing in terms of their scheme and all that. So it's a great idea. Thank you for that.
Good. Jeremy on our text line down in Texas said, Trev, really proud of the job you're doing. Rural is a great hire, well-respected across the state of Texas. Quick question, from your time in college football media, any stories or interactions with Mike Leach, who passed away today?
Yeah, I was obviously the University of Nebraska and our football program, and all of our fans, I'm sure, would express our sincere condolences to the Leach family and to Mississippi State. But I did. I interacted with Coach Leach several times as a broadcaster, and one of the most unique individuals you'd ever meet. And he was different. He was a night owl. He rarely got to the office before noon. But he'd love to work till 12, 1 o'clock. And I just remember my wife being frustrated, like, what are you doing? Because you had to interview Coach Leach at like 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, because that's just how it was for him. But he loved to talk. He loved to tell stories, but he just had this brilliant mind. He was so innovative, and he just thought about the game differently. And while you'll see all these coaches with their play sheets and they're all these different colors and there's massive amounts of plays, and you watch Coach Leach and he's got in one hand a little whatever cue card there that has a few plays on it, and he had concepts. Just a brilliant man. And we had a head coaches meeting today and talked a little bit about this. The stress that our coaches in many of our sports are under, with all of the things thrown at them right now. I mean, we talk a lot about student athletes and mental health, and we talk about these challenges. The reality is we need to take care of each other, and our coaches as well. I mean, they're under a significant amount of stress, and you throw in the social media and the transfer portal and the NIL and all these other things that are going on. It's contributing to some of the health challenges and other things. So we need to take care of each other, but I do appreciate that text, and I'm glad we could talk about it. Much respect. He changed the game of football.
Sure did. Changed the Big 12 conference.
He changed football, and there's not a lot of coaches that you can say, boy, that guy came in and he changed the game of football, and Mike Leach did that.
Yeah, sure did. First Interstate Bank, built for you. Learn more at www.firstinterstatebank.com, member FDIC. Let's go to the phones again. Let's stay in Lincoln. Jay, you are up next with Trev.
Hi, Trev. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Jay. Thank you for calling.
Just wanted to congratulate you on the hire. Just wanted to talk about the past 20 years and the evolution of football. Nebraska's old blueprint was physicality from the inside out.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of football you see today is kind of based around the line of scrimmage with the bells and whistles, all the speed, the spacing. I think you did a great job of hiring somebody that has a mix of both, that realizes, especially this year, we have the quarterback, the running back, and the wide receivers, but until the line of scrimmage can do their job, none of it really matters.
That's right.
And especially on defense, too. Some of these offenses look amazing because the quarterback has 5 seconds to throw the ball. If you have a D-line that's disruptive, it destroys everything.
That's right.
So I hope – I just wanted to thank you for the hire that you made of not getting caught up in the trends of today and whatnot. So thank you, Trev, and go Big Red.
Well, thank you, Jay. Go Big Red to you as well. And this is what makes Nebraska so different is look at the football knowledge that Jay just presented, right? And this is our fan base. They understand what football looks like. They understand how to build a competitive team. And of course we want to have fast guys. Of course we'd love to throw 70-yard bombs at the end of the day. And these were the kinds of things that Coach Rule and I were talking about throughout the process. But, just like I remember, we went down to L.A. and we played UCLA, and Tommy Frazier, who we talked about earlier, was our quarterback, Certainly wasn't all his fault, but there's days where the offense has an off day. There's just like in basketball, there's a day where the shots aren't going down. Mm-hmm. Well, what can you control? You can control your defense, you can control your rebounding, you can control your effort. That was a similar deal for us. There's going to be days where you turn the ball over. I think that game against UCLA in '93, we had 4 turnovers. We just didn't play that well. But you can always play great defense. You can always be physical at the line of scrimmage. And so football has changed, and you got to be more multiple. A lot has been made about a 3-3-5 defense. Look, part of that defense is it's adaptable, and you can have 4 or 5 guys in the line if you need to. And it's hard to, you can disguise who are these players. That was the hardest thing when I would do broadcasting in Rocky Long's defenses is you create your board and you're trying to call a game, right? Well, the hardest part about the 3-3-5 defense is you never knew who was actually in what role. And that's the benefit of that defense as you go to the offense. Quarterbacks come to the line of scrimmage, and the offensive line is identifying who is the Mike linebacker. Well, if it's interchangeable and adaptable, it gives you a chance to create some chaos and havoc. So what I'm most convinced of and comforted by, now we'll have to see how it goes, but what I think Coach Rule believes in is building from the inside out, controlling the line of scrimmage and being physical, and then integrating those other types of things like speed and those kinds of things. We're going to be multiple. He's going to be multiple. We're going to, we're not going to run an offense from the 50s, but at the same time, the core fundamentals and principles of good football must be there, and we need to start there.
Appreciate the phone call. Nebraska 811 says go dig red. Before you dig, always call or click 811 to have your utility lines marked. It's free, it's easy, it's the law. Back with our final segment with Trev next.
Touchdown, Nebraska!
If you're doing business in Nebraska, the best way to connect your organization with the excitement surrounding the Huskers is through a partnership with Nebraska Athletics. You can take your business to the next level by reaching loyal Husker fans through in-venue signage, digital and social media, radio advertising, and more.
Got it!
Join the Husker team today and email partners@huskers.com to learn more about opportunities to connect with Husker Nation. That's partners@huskers.com.
Does your business need quick, competitive financing for heavy machinery, trucks, or other equipment? Currency is here to help. Whether you're financing construction equipment, farm equipment, trucks, trailers, or any other big-ticket item, Currency will automatically find the best rates. Currency facilitates loans for up to $500,000 with repayment terms up to 72 months. It's fast, easy, and free to use. Visit GoCurrency.com and apply today.
More Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic care first. Studies show that chiropractic is safe, drug-free, and the most effective treatment option for back, neck, and joint pain. It can also help patients of all ages reduce migraines, improve mobility, and maximize athletic performance. Keep the entire family healthy and active with natural, cost-effective chiropractic care. Find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Shelley up the middle of the floor. Huskers lead by 11. Shelley, no look pass underneath to Markowski. And it counts. And a foul. Another highlight reel assist from Jazz Shelley. And Markowski goes to the line.
Just a terrific look off by Jazz Shelley.
Hey, Huskers fans, this Sunday, join us as Nebraska women's basketball takes on Wyoming at the PBA. Matt Coatney and Jeff Greesh are live at 1:45 p.m. Tune into your local affiliate or at Huskers.com or by using the Huskers mobile app. Go Big Red.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
It's more powerful than the legendary Husker option offense. More powerful than the black shirt defense. It's the sun, and you can harness its power with JTech Solar. JTech, the official solar energy experts of the Huskers, can help you shrink your energy bills and start saving money now. Solar power is clean, affordable, and it's dependable because the sun always shines on the Huskers. JTech Solar for your home, business, or agriculture energy needs. Visit jtechsolar.com.
Every day, Central Valley Ag works with our farmers to feed a hungry planet. CVA's Elite Acre gives growers assurance of profits and margins in volatile global markets. Manage your risk. Lock in your ROI through CVA's Elite Acre comprehensive programs. Register to win up to $10,000 of risk mitigation when you go online to cvacoop.com. Our planet is hungry. Together, we feed it. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
Alumni Hall is your ultimate Husker shopping experience with the largest and best selection of apparel, vault gear, and tailgate accessories. Shop their 2 Lincoln locations or alumnihall.com. Alumni Hall, where Huskers shop. Got a graduation coming up here on Saturday, and you got some athletes that'll be getting their diploma.
Yeah, just so happy for them. A lot of hard work obviously goes into that experience. So I think we'll have 25 student athletes that are going to earn their degree, and some of them their master's degree. For instance, Casey Thompson is getting his master's degree. So, you know, we often forget about that component of the student athlete experience. We're so focused on the wins and losses, but student athletes doing great in the classroom. And I'm just so grateful to our staff that we have in academics supporting those young men and young women. And by the way, while we're talking about our staff, I also want to thank our staff. Even though we're not going to be in Omaha at the Final Four for volleyball, our staff, we're hosting. So our staff is down there working hard, and they're going to put on a great show. I also want to thank some of our staff. I know there's been some concern and frustration over at PBA. They've had some challenges in terms of staffing, concessions, and other things. And so we're trying to find ways to integrate some of our staff to help out, to try to do a better job over at PBA. We're going to work with our partner over there as best we possibly can to make sure that the Husker fan experience is as good as it can be.
Got less than a minute left in the show. We'll have some basketball games over the student break. Opens up some tickets right behind the benches, so you need some folks to come buy some tickets to go to the games.
Well, I'd love to have fans show up, both women's basketball, men's basketball. It's a great ticket. It's fun to watch. I think women's basketball is 8-3. They've went on the road, beat Maryland. I think the stories out there about what Fred and his staff are doing. They're playing gritty, tough, excellent defense, and they're in every game. Could have won that game the other night, and they're now the #1 ranked team in the country, just to show you the kind of effort that our young men and young women are playing with.
I'm going to stop you before you say something too bad about the officiating. Don't want you to get in trouble.
We love all the officials in the Big Ten. We just wish they would make more correct calls when they...
Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you. Merry Christmas to you as well.
Trev Alberts Show with us here for the month of December. Buckle up, folks. Put that phone down. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. Another hour Sports Alley on the other side.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Woodhouse Ford is your certified Ford dealer, serving drivers throughout Nebraska for 47 years.
Our commitment to our customers continues well beyond the date of purchase. You will leave our lot feeling comfortable and confident in your new vehicle. Customers have been relying on Woodhouse Ford since 1975 for high-quality vehicles, knowledgeable staff, and exceptional service. Experience the Woodhouse Ford difference and shop at one of our 3 locations in-store or online at woodhouseford.com.
Triple B Feed has the products to help your cows thrive. Whether it's weekly delivery of consumption-controlled Lumix liquid minerals with protein or Redmond natural mineral salt for livestock or humans, Triple B has you covered. Let Brian and Brad Blahorn take some of the stress out of your beef production this year. For more information and other products, visit triplebfeed.com. Triple B Feed, helping you and your cattle.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Sam Pineda with Campus News. Husker students on the debate team and Bateman competition public relations team earned national championships this past year, marking a first for each program. The debate team claimed victory with one of the youngest teams in the country, while the Bateman competition public relations team won their championship by building a PR campaign for the Lymphoma Research Foundation.
As the Huskers head to halftime, Frank is off the couch and headed for the fridge. Ooh, but he can't make it because he is so cold. The furnace is out again. SOS, he screams, and calls SOS Heating and Cooling, his favorite Luxair dealer trusted since 1950. With Luxair, you get a free 10-year labor warranty with a new system. SOS Heating and Cooling.
SOS to the rescue. SOS. SOS.
Good evening, I'm Greg Sharpe with tonight's Sports Ticker, brought to you by GoCurrency.com. Nebraska Athletics announced this afternoon that with Memorial Stadium set to turn 100 years old, that several changes are going to be made for the 2023 season. The biggest, the ticket prices will be reduced by $100 for next year. That represents a 24% cost savings for Husker fans. Current season ticket holders will receive renewal information by email in the coming days. Nebraska Athletic Director Trev Alberts also just announced here earlier tonight that the spring game will be held on April 22nd, with a game time to be determined at a later date. The college football world is mourning the loss of Mississippi State coach Mike Leach, who passed away last night from heart complications. The eccentric football coach led the programs at Texas Tech, Washington State, and then Mississippi State. Leach was 61. The Purdue Boilermakers have hired Illinois defensive coordinator Ryan Walters as their new head coach. He takes over for Jeff Brom, who left last week to head the Louisville Cardinals. Argentina has made the finals of the World Cup. They defeated Croatia today 3-0. The other finalists will be determined tomorrow as France squares off with Morocco. Need to buy or sell heavy equipment, farm machinery, trucks, or trailers? GoCurrency is the industry-leading online auction platform for big machines. Get worldwide exposure and earn top dollar for your equipment. Visit GoCurrency.com today. Sports Highlight coming up next.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who reminds you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Goes across the key, left block, inside Walker, gathers, puts it up and in! Bang! A ring! And just like that, the Huskers are up in this basketball game over Creighton by 8.
Pass is made, they run the slide. Dooley, block back, and it drops! 2019, nick of time. Guess who? Caitlin Horn. That's 11 blocks for Nebraska.
At the Jazz Shelley. Gonna drive around Sellers. Flips it up. The Baker is good. She's on fire. My goodness, is Jazz Shelley on fire.
Holy smokes.
She's got 27. Huskers lead at 60-56.
And that's going to wrap it up, my friends. 13 seconds left to go. Huskers are going to win for the first time in Omaha since Jake Muehlheisen did in 2004.
And please excuse me if I stand and applaud this Nebraska women's basketball team.
Whoa! Full shots, and here come the Huskers. The center hat with the first touch. Bump set to the right. Krause for the win. She got it! They did it! Call the grandkids! Nebraska to the Sweet 16. 26-24. Big run of the fourth. Takes down the Kansas Jayhawks.
Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
And here we are, back hour 2 of our Wednesday night show, Sports Nightly, here on the Huskers Radio Network. Is this Wednesday or is this Tuesday?
I don't even know what day it is.
Andrew? I have no idea. What day is today? Is today Tuesday or Wednesday?
It's Tuesday. Tuesday.
God, see, I kind of want it to be Wednesday.
Why? What's Wednesday?
Well, just get me closer to the weekend.
Oh. I feel you.
But it is Tuesday. You're right. Tuesday night. Well, that was a fun hour. We got a lot in there. There was a lot. He was really chatty tonight.
Yeah, had some great calls and great texts and lots of good information. But then also I love where he was talking about how football's changed and diving into that. There's a lot of great stuff in there.
Mike Leach's story was interesting to hear him talk about that. And that was really sad to hear. Mike Leach was good for college football. He was a character. And sports need characters, guys that stand out and aren't the same coach speak. And Mike Leach certainly wasn't coach speak in any way, shape, or form.
No, and you have to love that. And I've been reading a lot of articles, a lot of memoirs on Coach Leach all throughout the day. And he's just one of those guys you never think about when he won't be a part of college football. And because he has this huge persona and he's been such a massive part for so long and he's changed football, you just kind of expect him to always be there. But yeah, you got to appreciate, especially with our careers and what we do, his candidness, his willingness to do any interview. It was always hilarious. I mean, how many press conferences did he do that something came up that was just absolutely, went viral, or he's talking about, he breaks down the best mascots in the Pac-12 like that. And that's what's been great too, watching today, some of his best moments from being interviewed and just all the different stories that have come out. I think about when I was at Oklahoma and he was there the year that Bob Stoops was hired, and Bob Stoops said when he was a defensive coordinator at Florida, what was the most nightmare offense to face? And it was Hal Mumme and Mike Leach at Kentucky. And so he took Leach to Oklahoma, and then Coach Leach changed things at Oklahoma. From that point on, you can still feel at Oklahoma that impact that Leach had, and he was only there, I think, for 2 years, if that, maybe just one season.
And then got the Texas Tech
job. And then you look at his coaching tree and how many head coaches: Cliff Kingsbury, Lincoln Riley, Dana Holgorsen, so many. I mean, he's just absolutely left a lasting mark that will forever be felt on college football.
He made an impact on Sports Nightly. Jeff Colhane, who used to produce for this show and then hosted this show, tweeted out today, Jeff now is the voice of Florida State, said, here's my Mike Leach story. When I was producer for the Huskers radio network Sports Nightly, Lane Grindle wanted me to get Mike Leach on Sports Nightly. It was a game week. Huskers were playing Texas Tech. Lane told me to just call him on a cell. He said, I couldn't believe it. No head coach is going to give out a cell. He said, sure enough, he answered on the second ring. Said he would come on with us. He was great, talked about football, told us about being on Friday Night Lights. Remember, he made a cameo on that show and made a joke that they wanted him to do a nude scene, and we all chuckled. Very sad to see him pass away. So that's Mike Leach right there. Everybody, people that have talked to Mike will all have similar stories about that.
Well, and Lincoln Riley told a story, and it's kind of come out, I think, today, but I'll never forget one of his most favorite Mike Leach stories was he was like a graduate assistant or something, and he was working in the office late, and Coach Leach got a phone call, and it was like an hour and a half, and he dropped him, and one of the things, he's like, where are you calling from? And then the conversation continued, and it was another hour, and then they dropped the call, and he called him back and said, sorry, I lost you, and then they ended the phone call, and Lincoln was like, who are you talking to? He's like, oh, I don't know, it's the wrong number. And it was like an hour and a half conversation, but that's just kind of what Mike Leach was. I've had a couple of people that have worked directly with him, that played for him, and the stories really are endless. And again, it's heartbreaking because you could always count on Mike Leach's team pulling off a massive upset every single year. How many times did you? I mean, I said it this year. I thought, hey, I don't want to go against the Pirate against Ole Miss, and I mean, every single year. Texas Tech against Texas that year. I mean, there are so many years that he has made such an impact. You look for his teams to always be relevant. The things that he's done to the offense that have carried over from Pee Wee football to NFL. I mean, it just goes on. And then you hear the stories about him being a kind person, inviting a homeless man that was standing outside the football facility in to watch a practice and things like that. I mean, he made a massive impact on college football, but the world in general.
61 years old. Way too young. So
yes.
Sad day for college football, and he will be missed. But great hour. Great to hear from Trev. Love the ticket thing, Jessica, for next year, dropping the prices by 100. Who does that? Nobody does that. Particularly when your place is sold out, you don't drop it. Nebraska's going to do that next year. I think that's really cool.
Again, just trying to look out for the fans in any way they can. He had those surveys, and that was really, really important to him. How long has it been since those surveys? It
was last winter.
Okay,
it was like February, March.
Yeah. And we've had meetings within the staff, and it's been addressed several times. I know it meant a lot for him to have the feedback from Husker Nation to find out what needs to be done moving forward that's most fan-friendly and what this fan base wants, and it is. I mean, it actually is. It's genuine when he's talking about it, what it means to him, and so I think he heard, and yeah, that's awesome for the fans.
And again, I think that's just a one-year deal with the celebration of 100 years, but they're going to make it cool. There's going to be all kinds of events around.
They're already planning it. It's crazy.
He talked about there's going to be a book that's going to be out. That'll be a collector's item for all Husker fans to go grab. And then we had Sam in Omaha text in and go, what about wearing a 1923 replica jersey? And he got really grinny, like, oh, yeah, I think that's kind of what we're doing. So that'll be fun.
We should maybe see about asking Husker fans, because, there's so many great fans that have so many memorabilia and like all of these great memories to maybe contribute in some way to the book, or some, like if you have cool photos or something like that. I mean, it would just be really cool to see all the history from the fans' perspective if we could figure out a way to do that as well.
Good idea.
Or like telling fan stories.
Sure.
Like
Remember your first game, what the stadium looked like, and all
from
those things.
all different generations.
Yeah.
I mean, that one time we sat here for 2 hours and listened to people call in about their memories of taking down goalposts.
Which year
during
was
games.
it? Yeah,
and
when
it was like one of my favorite shows since I've been on this show. And because we had so much fun, it was not what we expected to talk about for 2 hours, but hearing all the great stories, and everybody had a different take on things, and it was so much fun. So that might be fun to look into too.
That'll be fun. So next year, 100th anniversary. Also the spring game, April 22nd, folks. There you go. A lot of people planning big parties, maybe a graduation party, an early graduation party, maybe schools trying to set their prom calendars. There you go, April 22nd.
Was that earlier than normal or pretty standard?
Last year, I think we were the weekend before.
But I mean, was it an earlier announcement than normal, or normally about this time?
Yeah. It is earlier. Usually they kind of come out with it for the second recruiting period and put tickets on sale that same day as the second signing day, which is in February. So this is good. People like that. Earlier the better.
Yes.
It's good. Nice.
What are you expecting the weather to be like on April 22nd?
I have no clue. It should be okay. The later you get in April, you should warm up a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Should be good. So there you go, April 22nd. So a little bit of news. Also, somebody called and wanted to know about if John Cook could put on a Volleyball 101. We did get a text from somebody said that John has done that in the past with a Volleyball 101. It was years ago. So maybe he'll bring that back. I think that'd be fun. I'd go to that.
I was actually approached by this lovely couple in Cracker Barrel. I was with my mom, and she said they were telling me that the football team used to do like a football one-on-one where women could come in and go through the drills and stuff.
And the caller was right. It was the Bo Pelini staff did that.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
And so we're asking if we could bring that back again. I mean, I think that would be awesome. It's so fun to be able to have the fans come in, and also for the staff to connect, and it only helps continue to grow the fan base for sure.
And Bruce in our YouTube stream says April 22nd is his birthday. So
happy birthday,
see, Bruce.
Bruce.
We're doing it. We're having the game in your honor.
Huge birthday party for Bruce on April 22nd.
There you go. Lauren Cook-West going to join us here later in the hour, get her thoughts about wrapping up the volleyball season, and maybe get a thought from her on who she likes in the Final Four that starts Thursday up in Omaha. That's 2 days from now that I figured out that today is Tuesday and not Wednesday. If you want to be a part of this one as well, 402-413 2400. Let's go to the phones. We'll start out in North Platte with Jim. Good evening, Jim. Welcome to the program.
Well, good evening to you both, and you talking about the old-fashioned football. I got to go to the 70s and 80s and 90s and a little bit of the 2000s football game, and the reason I called in was because on this deal where they were experiencing alcohol, that I think that's totally wrong, and I think you're asking for trouble. And I was wanting to know, when they start paying certain players to wear like their coats or else their T-shirts or else they're basically sports things, I think that's totally wrong. Thank you very much. Go Big Red, go Big Red.
All right, Jim. Yeah, I don't know that you're going to start seeing college athletes wear apparel during competitions for their NIL deals. I don't know if that's going to happen. I think they can't do that. You do see basketball players wear different kind of sneakers, but I don't think you see many messaging on them.
But it's also, in college, it's still within the brand of whoever's sponsoring you overall. So all the players here are wearing Adidas. Right. And if you're a Nike school, you're wearing Nike. And even if you look at the Olympics, they have certain sponsors that you have to wear, Nike and all of that. So you might have a track athlete that's sponsored by New Balance, but they can't wear New Balance at the Olympics. So there's certain rules that you have to follow within, the brand of the company or the whatever team or organization that you play for.
All right, let's go from North Platte to Omaha. And Jonathan, good evening. Jonathan, welcome to Sports Nightly.
Hey, good evening, guys. Hey, so kind of one of those good memory things, and to kind of give a shout-out to the kindness of another fan. I was at the Indiana game a couple years ago in Lincoln when we wore those alternate uniforms, and I was trying to find a cheap ticket and came across a guy for, a really good deal. It was a ticket that you wore around your neck, one of the fancy suites or whatever, and And I just remember him eventually coming up and sitting next to me, and we talked for a while about our lives and, talk what I did for work and how it related to his family. And he didn't need to do that. I mean, he gave me a heck of a deal. If you guys saw these seats, you would be blown away. And just kind of a good example of how nice we are. And I can't remember his name. I really wish I could. But wherever you are, thank you. I appreciate it.
Jonathan,
awesome.
Thanks for sharing that. That's a great story. And I'm sure there's a lot of those out there that people walk up on game day, need a ticket, and all of a sudden some good-natured fan goes, you know what? Give me face value or give me $10, give me $20 for the ticket and enjoy the game and have a good time with it. So that's cool that he was able to come up with that. Let's head from Omaha to Colorado. Wayne's up next on the program. Hey, Wayne, you getting some snow out there?
Yeah, we have a blizzard.
Really? Well, be safe.
Wow.
Yeah, we're socked in. I'm a little bit out in the country in northeast Colorado, and it's terrible.
All right, well, be safe. What's on your mind tonight?
I just wanted to. Colorado, got a new coach, and the AD out here in Colorado, can't think of his name now, but he said, we're not going to sell any tickets to the Husker fans.
Yeah, I saw him say that. Yeah.
So isn't there something that you're allotted so many tickets?
Yeah, but it's only a couple thousand. It's not going to be nearly enough. And what's happened in the past, Wayne, and appreciate the call, and be safe out there in those blizzard conditions. I know some of the folks in the Panhandle, Nebraska are dealing with that tonight as well. What the Colorado's done in the past is, they'll sell you a ticket to the Nebraska game, but you got to buy like 2 other games. So you got to pay like $150, and you only want to go to the one game, but they're going to sell you tickets to 3 games just to try to make you not want to buy them. Nebraska fans are still going to buy them.
I every single game this year that I went to, I was blown away at how many Husker fans there were. I mean, being down there on the sideline, and how many Nebraska fans were up close, because a lot of times when you go to road games, they stick you up there in the corner. That's where most of the time the fans' tickets are. They're not really close to the field. But at Iowa, at Rutgers, boy, right there behind the bench, there was a lot of Nebraska fans. So it kind of took away that home field advantage where the crowd's right behind you and yelling really loud. If you got a bunch of Husker fans right there, it doesn't necessarily have that great of effect.
You were getting a lot of helpful offers in Iowa to keep warm, to keep hydrated, a lot of things coming your way.
Yeah, and it was from Nebraska fans and Iowa fans.
Okay, they both are. Well, friendly folks.
So there was a couple of mixtures in there. Yes, they were very kind and generous with beverages that they were consuming.
Jeremy in Texas on our text line said, on the throwback game, I submit that all media should dress like the 1920s and even call the game like them. Say things like the cat's meow and the bee's knees.
Come on, Greg. Let's do it.
I love that. That is fantastic.
You're going to have to throw that in there.
That is really good. Matt and Raymond says, hey, let's pack Memorial Stadium for that spring game. Matt, I think we'll have a really good crowd for the spring game. I don't know that we'll get to 90, but I think with Matt Rule's first year, I think it'll be a really good crowd.
Yeah, because how much was it for Scott Frost's first year?
It was low 80s.
Yeah, I think, and hopefully, too, I think a lot of fans were a little bit disappointed at the format of the spring game last year. Now, a lot of that was due to not having enough depth and bodies to be able to carry on a full-on game. But, I know that was some suggestions and, some complaints from fans that wanted to come watch a good football fan. And Trev Alberts was on the show pretty close to right after that, and he heard that, and he wanted to make it more entertaining for fans. So it will also be interesting to see how Matt Rule approaches his first spring game and what kind of show the team puts on for Husker fans.
It'll be good, and ticket information about that will be coming probably in January at some point in time. They're not for sale yet for that spring game. I need you and Andrew to listen to Art in Los Angeles. He says, Greg, the University of Toronto did research on being forgetful of what day it is. It was found to be a sign of intelligence. So there we go.
Okay.
All right. Art's my man out there in Los Angeles. Art and all of our callers into our Sports Nightly Hotline, brought to you by Woodhouse, where you can shop your way from one of the 16 convenient locations or online at woodhouse.com anytime. 18 brands and a huge selection of pre-owned. You can always find what you are looking for with Woodhouse. Did I hear Lauren dial in? We got her. Coming back with Lauren Cook-West. We'll talk Husker volleyball next.
Do you want your date to wait for your interlock device to let you drive? Your kids to ask why you have an ankle bracelet? Or your boss to see your criminal history? Do you want to miss important life events because of house arrest? Get a ride. A DUI costs more than you think.
Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Get ready again for some Nebraska farm facts. When there's work to be done, Nebraska soybeans are on the job in many of your everyday products. In fact, Nebraska soybeans are hard at work in Goodyear tires, Ford cars and trucks, Skechers shoes, asphalt, fuels, lubricants, name brand paints and stains, and more. Soybeans are an innovative replacement for petroleum, leading to more sustainable products all over the world. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
It's the Ford Shine Bright sales event, and Ford is helping you be a light for others this holiday season. Right now, get special offers on select Ford trucks and SUVs. Come in and choose a vehicle in stock, or simply place a custom order, lock in your rate, and you're protected. Hurry in to your local Ford dealer today and find the Ford vehicle that helps you shine bright all season long. Not all models, trims, or features may be available or may be subject to change.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska exists to be there with you. They are rooting for the schools and teachers who make our communities great. That's why Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska is proud to sponsor Touchdowns for Teachers and ask Husker fans to nominate outstanding educators who help Nebraska students reach their potential. If there's a teacher you want to recognize for the impact they've made in your community, find a nomination form at huskers.com/touchdowns for teachers.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Agriculture is the economic engine of the Midwest. At Acres Equipment, we dedicate ourselves to making that engine run smoothly. We supply our farmers and ranchers with quality John Deere equipment, parts, and service. We also deliver the most advanced technology and precision ag strategies to help them farm today and for the future. Acres Equipment, solutions for every field.
You already got the hat, the jersey, maybe even the occasional red and white face paint. So kick things off right this season and add the FNBO Husker Visa debit card to the list. Pay loud and proud for every Husker decal, t-shirt, or hot dog at the game. Wear your heart on your sleeve and in your wallet with the Husker Visa debit card, free with any checking account from FNBO, the bank of Husker Nation. Get yours today at fnbo.com/Huskers. Member FDIC.
Bank of the West is offering the first checking account designed for climate action. It gives back 1% of the account's net revenue to the planet at no cost to you. Shows you the estimated carbon impact of debit card purchases, and there's no minimum balance required. Learn more at bankofthewest.com/1%. Additional conditions apply. Member FDIC.
Cornoyer throws to a screen and roll. Catwheeler blocked. Markowski blocked it. She's doing it all. Widener throws it ahead. Maddie Kroll didn't get her feet set correctly. Out to Moriarty for three. You betcha. Off the assist from Maddie Kroll. Kalo's on fire. That's a career-high third triple.
Hey, Huskers fans, tomorrow, join us for Sports Nightly as head coach Amy Williams hosts the Nebraska Women's Basketball Show at 7 p.m. Tune into your local affiliate or at Huskers.com or by using the Huskers mobile app. Go Big Red.
Farmers Mutual of Nebraska is proud to support Husker athletics. Having a confident teammate beside you makes all the difference when it comes to protecting what matters most. With a proven track record of dependable coverage, unmatched financial strength, and a prompt claim service team right here in Nebraska, that's insurance kept local. Visit fmne.com to contact an agent for a quote today. Farmers Mutual of Nebraska, always alongside you.
It's the Ford Shine Bright sales event, and Ford is helping you be a light for others this holiday season. Right now, get special offers on select Ford trucks and SUVs. Come in and choose a vehicle in stock, or simply place a custom order, lock in your rate, and you're protected. Hurry in to your local Ford dealer today and find the Ford vehicle that helps you shine bright all season long. Not all models, trims, or features may be available or may be subject to change.
Back at our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres, the Midwest's premier John Deere dealer supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody with you here on a Tuesday. And I'm delighted to be joined by Lauren Cook West, who I'm sure is sad that she's not prepping for a game on Thursday, but she's kind enough to spend a little bit of time with us and kind of put a bow on the season. Hey, Lauren, how you doing? I'm sure the end of the season's always tough, isn't it?
It is tough, and it's tough for me from a broadcasting perspective, not being able to call color commentary through the Final Four, but it's also difficult as being a family member and having a family member go through the heartbreak of a season ending, and also as a former player having to go through it myself. So I understand it on a lot of different levels, and it's always tough for a season to end, but it happens, and that's just, you can't be on top every year.
Can you take us through the emotions now, especially that you've had some time to digest what happened in the game against Oregon, and Husker seemed to control a lot of it, and then all of a sudden that fourth set gets a little wild, and then maybe the wind came out of the sails. Just what was your perspective of that game in particular?
Well, the first thing I'll say is Oregon is a good team.
Yeah.
I was really impressed. And I don't know if you guys saw their match against Louisville, but they probably should have beat Louisville, and they should be in the Final Four this upcoming weekend. But they're a really solid team. They have two incredible outsides. I don't know any other teams in the country who have two solid outsides. They're putting up the numbers that they were putting up consistently throughout the entire season. So that's always difficult to defend. And JB's talked about it before. Throughout the years that I've been working with them, is teams that do well and are very successful throughout the entire season have two great outsides. And so that's the first thing I want to say. The second thing is Nebraska dealt with so many injuries, so many sicknesses, lineup changes, rotation changes. I mean, there's system changes going from a 6-2 to a 5-1, and different setters and different attackers and different left sides and right sides and different players in the middles. I mean, this has to be, for Nebraska, the most changes that Coach Cook has made since he started his coaching career here back however many, 20 some years ago, however long it was. But this has to be the most amount of changes he has made ever in a season with the lineup. And to be dealing with all of that, especially late, I mean, the weekend before, Nicklin Hames was out, Whitney Lonstein was almost out, and then having to go into regionals and trying to figure out who's playing and making last minute decisions and last minute changes. I mean, they flipped. One of the biggest changes that Nebraska made for that Oregon match was actually flipping Lindsey Krause and Whitney Lonstein, which some people may think that's not a huge change, but it is a huge change. And so I think Nebraska, for everything they went throughout the entire season, they played their hearts out. They always gave 110% on effort, and we saw that in that match against Oregon, but they did have chances to win it, and they didn't capitalize. And it's, as a fan and as a spectator, that's really tough to witness, but I think everything that happened throughout the season with all those changes, we saw the effects of that in that Oregon, towards the end of that Oregon match.
Lauren, you were one in a long line of great setters at this school. Let's talk about the future for that position. Where do we go from there, from where it is right now? What do you envision that being next late August?
Well, we have Bergen Riley, who we can talk about now. She'll be coming in. She's one of the best setters. Well, she is the best setter in the country. She's one of the best setters we've seen in a long time from that high school level, and she'll be coming to Nebraska in January. So she's enrolling early. She'll get some experience under her belt before the fall. However, you still have Kennedy Orr, and I know she had a meeting with the coaching staff, I believe, either Saturday or Monday. So either yesterday or on Saturday, and I know that went really well, and she is motivated and she wants to compete for that starting position, and she'll have some time to continue to work on that knee. Remember, she's coming off of that torn ACL and still played with some hesitation on that knee, so she's working through that. She'll be able to build up her strength. And then we all know the news about Ani Evans. She's transferring, so we won't see her, but maybe Nebraska will hit the portal. I know there's some setters in the transfer portal, and I'm sure a few more will come out of the woodworks, and maybe they'll be able to pick up someone in the transfer portal as well. But I think we have two amazing setters, and both have an opportunity to start next season, and both are very talented.
There's still a ton of young talent on this team. I think it's sometimes fans might forget that there were a lot of times you had a freshman and 3 or 4 sophomores on the court, and Lindsey Krause, Allie Batenhorst, I know she was one of those players that was kind of stepped into a role there at the end that she hadn't had to do all season. So what can you say about some of those young sophomores and Becca Alec too, the freshman, and how they grew here jumping from freshman to sophomore year?
I was really impressed with those young players. And Jessica, I love that you bring this up, because I could be wrong. You'll have to fact check me, but I believe next season, Nebraska won't have any seniors. And I also can't remember the last time that happened for the Huskers. So this is a very young team, and we need to remember that it takes time to build and to develop some of these younger players. And Becca showed, we saw her grow throughout the season. We saw Lindsey Krause grow. Allie Batenhorst, who went from a 3 rotation player to a 6 rotation player. Just so many. Lexi Rodriguez, who I think she's a senior every year, and she's, I think, only a sophomore. She'll be a junior, but there's so much talent. And then even the incoming recruiting class, a lot of young players there that will add to that talent. It's just, it's going to be fun to be able to watch them to continue to grow, and then see how Coach Cook moves players around in the off season and utilizes for them next fall. And what I'm talking about is maybe we see Lindsey Krause on the left playing all 6 rotations. I'm a big fan of that. We saw that in one set towards the end of the season, end of the year. Maybe we see Allie Batenhorst solidify her role as a 6 rotation player. Maybe we see a new right side. Maybe Whitney goes to the left. There's just so many different variations and so much talent. It'll be interesting to see how it all gets utilized.
Before we get your take on the Final Four, Crypto King in our chat room's got a couple questions for you. He wants to know, why are you so cool? And 2, what's it like working with JB? Have you ever gotten in an argument, or is he just perfect?
Oh my goodness. I don't think JB and I have ever argued, to be completely honest. And I love working with him, and I learned so much from him. And I actually think JB's like a walking encyclopedia. He knows everything. But I think this year, I taught him a few things. I dropped some one-liners, and he was looking at me like, what are you talking about? What does that mean? Can you explain that to me? I also have to say that JB puts out a tweet before every match, and he's always asking me, okay, how do I tweet? How do I do this? How do I set all this up? How do I like it? How do I retweet it? How do I quote tweet it? So I am behind the scenes social media manager for John Baylor.
I'm not surprised. Hey, why are you so cool? You didn't answer that question.
I think my coolness level has dropped down, but thank you for the compliment. I'll take it.
He's also still pleading for you to coach, which we won't go there. I know you don't want to talk about that either.
I just tell him I coach behind the scenes. After every match, I'm calling Coach Cook. I talk to him for about 30 minutes, sometimes longer, depending on how the match goes, and he gets an earful.
How about no Big Ten teams in the Final Four this year?
It's really surprising. Also, no Pac-12 teams.
Yep.
And so I believe that's the first time in a long time that this has happened. And the game's growing. Different conferences are growing as well. I still think the Big Ten is the toughest, most difficult conference to play in. I think Pac-12 is right there behind them, but ACC is growing. Big 12, it's always going to be Texas on top there, but I was impressed with the ACC, and now San Diego out of the WAC. Hawaii is always, I believe Hawaii's in the WAC, but they've been a top team in that conference, and now to watch San Diego kind of take over and make it to their first Final Four ever, I'm rooting for them.
So is that your favorite, or is that just who you're rooting for?
I was born in San Diego, so I'm a San Diego girl at heart, and I'm definitely rooting for the Toreros. But I think Texas they're going to be tough to beat, and I think they're probably the favorite. But Louisville and Pitt, they also looked really impressive when I watched them. I haven't seen them play a lot throughout the season, but when I did watch them this last weekend, they both looked really good.
Well, Lauren, thank you for joining us. Great job all season long. I know you, JB, everybody who roots and loves Husker volleyball wishes this thing was gone, but there is next year. We'll go get it next year.
Yeah, JB says never peek ahead, but we can all peek ahead to next year. So I'm so looking forward to it. I'm counting down the days, and I think these Huskers are going to be playing with a chip on their shoulder next year.
We'll keep teaching him things, Lauren. We'll keep teaching JB things. Thank you, Lauren.
Thanks, guys.
Lauren Cook-West joining us on our Sports Hotline Hotline, brought to you by Woodhouse, where you can shop your way from one of the 16 convenient locations or online at woodhouse.com anytime. 18 brands and a huge selection of pre-owned. You can always find what you were looking for with Woodhouse. Back with more of the show. In fact, phone lines back open again, 402-413-2400. More calls and texts coming up.
Get your Ford your way at Woodhouse Ford. Completely customize your next vehicle and ensure that you are getting exactly what you're looking for. From cargo space to tires and even safety features, you can easily design a vehicle that meets all your needs. Plus, we make the process stress-free with 3 convenient locations and the ability to view all our inventory in one place at WoodhouseFord.com. You shouldn't have to settle, so start building your next vehicle at Woodhouse Ford today.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Sam Pineda with Campus News. For the 5th straight year, the University of Nebraska system is a top 100 patent-earning institution. NU system researchers were granted 43 patents in 2021, with UNL researchers named as inventors on 25 of these patents. Husker patents include 3 projects with partners at the University of Nebraska Medical Center and 6 patents for a surgical robot developed by faculty in the College of Engineering.
Greatness doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, focus, and dedication. At Shelter Insurance, we understand that because we put in the hard work and dedication for decades. And that commitment is paid off with award-winning customer service for your auto, home, and life insurance. Visit shelterinsurance.com and find an agent to help you choose the coverage you need. Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Families who travel to Nebraska's only Ronald McDonald House are facing extremely uncomfortable situations. Their child is sick in an unfamiliar city, unsure of how to handle it all. But when they walk in the Ronald McDonald House, they can find comfort in the little things. A quiet moment away from the bombardment of beeps and buzzes in a hospital room. The taste of a home-cooked meal. A calming voice saying it'll be okay. Help us provide the little things that make a big difference. Support a one-night stay for a family in need by visiting rmhcomaha.org/Huskers.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Dear gas prices, go take a hike. Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. The Toyota hybrid lineup brings efficiency with power, savings with style, and top-notch tech to keep you connected. Not to mention plush premium interiors and the most advanced Toyota safety features. So, now you know who you're talking to. Toyota, the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. Toyota, the brand with a hybrid or electric vehicle for every driver. Toyota, the brand that helps save you money at the pump. Now, let me ask you a question, dear gas prices. You really think you can stand in the way of the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years? Think again. Toyota Hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimates CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
As the Huskers head to halftime, Frank is off the couch and headed for the fridge. Ooh, but he can't make it because he is so cold. The furnace is out again. SOS, he screams, and calls SOS Heating and Cooling, his favorite Luxair dealer trusted since 1950. With Luxair, you get a free 10-year labor warranty with a new system. SOS Heating and Cooling.
SOS to the rescue. SOS. SOS.
Beardmore Subaru celebrates Nebraska volleyball again this season. 5 national championships, 47 All-Americans, and a home sellout streak dating back to 2001. The longest streak for any women's sport in NCAA history. Beardmore Subaru has been a proud supporter of Husker volleyball for more than 10 years. Beardmore Subaru in Bellevue has the new Subaru Outback Wilderness, loaded with off-road ready upgrades, and the new Solterra, Subaru's first ever all-electric and all-wheel drive vehicle. Go Big Red.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
Celebrating 50 years in the commercial real estate development industry in Omaha and nationwide, Noddle Companies is proud to continue its tradition of supporting Husker athletics. Check out what's new in Omaha, which includes revolving recreation and the food hall at Zone 6 in Exarban Village. Another exciting project coming soon are the Blackstone Urban Row townhomes. Noddle Companies, creating long-term value through community development. For more information, visit noddlecompanies.com. Go Big Red.
Back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres solutions for every field. Phone lines, text lines open for you at 402-413-2400 if you want to be a part of the program the last 15 minutes of the show. And Lauren, another Lauren, a Husker fan in Sioux City, said, Lauren Cook West, indeed you are cool. Just wanted to say, even though you are off the show, I get so much enjoyment out of listening to you and JB that I don't ever watch Nebraska on TV. Lauren, you've taught me a great deal about volleyball. Thank you so much. That's a nice little text.
I mean, I've learned so much from her.
Yeah.
You learned so much because, again, this is a sport that I was not very familiar with because I know how big it is here, and I learned that very quickly, and I love it, and I love to watch it. But in the South, in the Big 12, it is not.
Outside of Texas.
You know, it is basketball is the biggest sport down there, and so, you know, it just wasn't a lot of. I didn't cover a lot of volleyball. I didn't know a lot about it, and I didn't play it. It's not a big high school sport in Oklahoma, and so I learned a lot more listening to her doing the radio than any TV analyst that I watch on TV. Although I will say the ESPN crew that was on our game the other day,
they were pretty good.
They did a pretty good job. Yeah. I learned quite a bit listening to her too, but I always learn so much more from Lauren than I do at any TV
And
team.
let's be honest, JB is not easy to work with.
Andrew,
it's a bit of
you want to
diva.
hop in on that?
It's a bit of a diva. That JB right there, that fellow, he can. No, I'm just giving John a little trouble. They make a great tandem, and it's a fun little back and forth that they have. And we're fortunate to have them here on the network to do all that. I would not want to jump in there and call volleyball. I don't. No way.
Especially following JB. It's a hard sport as it is to call. Because it's so fast, and it's, you know, the technical terms, all of that. If you're not familiar with it, if you haven't done it, if you haven't played it, it can be hard. But then you follow the legend, the guy who created volleyball play-by-play.
He's been doing it 30 years.
You're just going to be a letdown. Like, yeah, I don't want any part of following up JB ever.
No, yeah, it's just amazing. And
like even Coatney,
God bless Coatney for jumping in there.
You know, and he's known on the Huskers Radio Network, and he's talked about how much he gets people coming at him because he's not JB.
He goes, Lauren, take it over. Just start talking. Tell him what's happening now here on the match. So, you know, the cool thing about that sport, and for those here at Nebraska, and it's not everywhere, is that those athletes get a little bit of downtime, and then we have a beach team. So they get to go play sand volleyball, where a lot of schools don't do that. And I think that's benefited Nebraska, and I know they love it. And we've talked to Lauren about this in the past, but it's a huge change. It gets them off the hardwoods, gets them on sand better on their legs, easier on their legs.
Well, and they talk about how good of a workout it is, how good of in shape they become after the end of it, because it is, think about all the guys that are training for the combine. They go train in the sand a lot of times because it makes you faster, it makes you able to jump higher, all of the above. It's just, and it's not as hard on your body. And so, and then it's also a good kind of bonding experience. And it also allows for you to take a really cool trip every spring too, that you otherwise wouldn't be able to get to take.
We got to get on that trip somehow.
I know. I think they need a Sports Nightly Live from Hawaii and
they always go to Hawaii. That's just doesn't really seem fair, but good. Like the golfers, right? All the golf teams get to go to Palm Beach and Phoenix and Florida.
I think they need a course side reporter from some of those.
Yeah, all those things. Time to tell you what's on tap, presented by Bud Light. Husker basketball. The Big Red will be in Kansas City, taking on Kansas State in the middle game of a 3-year series. Last year they played in Lincoln. This year, Kansas City, neutral site, sort of. It'll be a big advantage for Wildcat fans there. Next year they'll be in Manhattan. Game time, 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock for pregame coverage with Kent and Jake. And then on Sunday, Husker women at PBA taking on a pretty good Wyoming team. 2 o'clock at PBA, 1:45 for pregame coverage with Matt Coatney and Jeff Grease. That is what is on tap, presented by Bud Light. 402-413-2400. We're back to wrap up tonight's show next.
At Nebraska, our people will always be our greatest asset. Day by day, donors give our teams the best opportunity to compete and win through their generous donations. Our vision for the future is ambitious and requires help from those who want to see Husker athletics excel at the highest level. Go big and join thousands of other Huskers Athletic Fund members with your gift today at huskers.com/donate.
While some seed companies put a greater stake in stock prices and anonymous shareholders, Rob Seco knows that what's important to you hits closer to home. That's why you'll find we're focused on your needs. With a simplicity that makes us easy to do business with, a relationship that makes it easy to connect with anyone in the company, and the technology, traits, and genetics you need from any source. Put your stock in the company that puts you first. Rob Seco.
Across the timeline to Tominaga, back to Greasel. Greasel on the right sideline, starts in, cut off. Tominaga, 3-ball on the way. Bang! Bang-a-ring! Tominaga ties this puppy at 56!
Hey, Huskers fans, this Saturday, join us as Nebraska men's basketball battles Kansas State in Kansas City. Kent Pavelka and Jake Muehlheisen have the call at 5 p.m. Tune into your local affiliate or at Huskers.com or by using the Huskers mobile app. Go Big Red.
Can you name one thing that's more exciting than football in Nebraska? Okay, maybe not, but there's something that comes close. Scratch tickets from the Nebraska Lottery. That's right. Choose from a variety of play styles with huge top prizes. There's something fun for everyone. So, when football isn't on, pick up some scratch tickets from the Nebraska Lottery.
Play is good. Go play. Odds vary by game.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
There is no place like Nebraska, and there is no place that treats you like your home like Sapp Brothers. For over 50 years, Sapp Brothers has fueled America's heartland and has been a reliable partner to local farms, businesses, and Huskers fans across Nebraska, providing the highest quality fuel, lubricants, and propane, servicing your farming equipment, and welcoming guests into our travel centers. Visit www.sappbros.net. Sapp Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Huskers Athletics.
Sports Nightly Hotline brought to you by Woodhouse, where you can shop your way from one of the 16 convenient locations or online at woodhouse.com anytime. 18 brands and a huge selection of pre-owned. You can always find what you were looking for with Woodhouse. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody with you. Final few minutes of our Tuesday night show. We've established that Tuesday night show here on Sports Nightly. Tomorrow night, we'll have our women's basketball show for the week. Amy Williams will be here in hour number 2, so we'll have an hour with Jessica and I, and then we'll hand it off to Matt Coatney and Amy Williams. Huskers have figured something out on the court, Jessica, that sometimes you have to bottom out before you can go up, and I feel like the Virginia Tech was the bottom, and, man, they have been trending up, although it was a rocky first half the other night against Samford.
Yeah, but I always think it's good, too, when you can get caught up in that and not respond well, and the way they played in the second half was unbelievable. I mean, they scored, 56 points in the second half?
And there was 71, minus 15.
So you're talking about 112 points if they would have done what they did in the second half and the first half. So, I mean, that was an elite offensive performance in the second half. They just needed to get going. And, I saw Maggie Mendelson was down there with the team before. They were all standing down there. It was really cool in the tunnel watching the men's game unfold. And they were getting pumped up, fired up, and trying to watch. And Jazz was asking me, she was like, you think they're going to rush the court if they win? I was like, yes, they will.
Oh, yeah.
So she was like telling everybody, she's like, hey, with the win, we got to get out of it. We can't get hurt over here. Yeah. So just be on alert over here. But they were so into it and loving to support the Husker men. But yeah, it was great to see Maggie down there with the team. She didn't suit out. I'll be fascinated when she gets back on the court. But they need her, especially with Izzy being day-to-day, and who knows when Izzy's return will be.
Well, and maybe Amy will tell us tomorrow night when she's in here. Maybe she'll give us an update.
But just good to see her back.
Right.
Again, you would prefer for her not to be with the team right now. You'd prefer her to still be with volleyball, but it's good to see her with the women's basketball team.
No doubt. All right, so tomorrow night, full 2 hours. And again, hour number 2 will be our women's show. We'll then have full shows for you Thursday and Friday as well. Working on getting Will Bolt on. We have not talked to Coach Bolt since the beginning of fall ball back in September. We'll get an update from him later in the week. And also scheduling Grant Wistrom, the former Husker great black shirt, who's now going to be a member of the Orange Bowl Hall of Fame, is going to make an appearance on Sports Highlight later on in the week as well. One more caller before we say goodnight tonight. Let's go to West Point. Husker Dan. Good evening, Dan.
Hey, kids. How you doing?
Good.
Hey, most and foremost, I just want to say, rest in peace for Mike Leach. And, his air assault offense was amazing at Texas Tech. And, I just kind of always wondered in the back of my mind what that would, if he ever landed at Nebraska, how that would have went. But, it's all thought and it's all behind us. But, his greatest memories for me is his interviews with the media, and it was just, they were so funny because he would just go off track with these reporters, and then it's like he'd talk about Bigfoot, he would talk about others. It's like, oh my goodness, where is this guy going? And it's like, you're just messing with the media, and it's like, the guy was just a genius. And I will always, we're going to miss him because I always thought that was, it was funny for a coach to even, go that way. But anyway, my last thing is, Greg, my Vikings.
Yeah, that was a disappointment on Sunday with the Lions. Well, who do they have this week? They got the Colts, I think. They'll bounce back this week.
Yes, we do.
They'll bounce back. Keep the faith, Dan.
Hey.
Keep the faith. Appreciate the phone call. We're going to wrap up the hour here. But Mike Leach, great character. And I remember his press conferences were must-see TV. He would get into, like Dan said, he would get into strange topics. He'd talk about weddings, getting planning for weddings and the key thing. It's just, you didn't know where it was going to go every time he got in front of a microphone.
Highly recommend reading Bruce Feldman's article that he posted. He wrote Coach Leach's book, which he talked about how Mike Leach wanted to be the copy editor and just how brilliant he was, even outside of football, and he could have been a great lawyer. Yeah. I mean, there are just so many fascinating layers to Mike Leach, and certainly rest in peace. We will miss him.
Absolutely. Just great for the game, great for the sport. to see somebody kind of cut in a different mode like Mike Leach. Buckle up, put the phone down, folks. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. Great show tonight. Great to have Trev in here for his full hour back in January for his next radio show. Again, tomorrow night we'll have our women's basketball show with Amy Williams in studio for one of the 2 hours of Sports Nightly. Thanks to Andrew for steering the ship and all of you for listening tonight. Back here again tomorrow. Good night.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Sam Pineda with Campus News. UNL has been awarded over $14 million by the U.S. Department of Commerce to expand robotics research and teaching spaces, part of a $25 million award given to the state of Nebraska to advance robotics research. The funding will allow the university to educate and train the next generation of Nebraska workers, entrepreneurs, and innovators for careers of the future.
It's harvest special time, and you can save $3 per foot or $3,900 per quarter-mile system now on a T&L pivot system. Pivots worked long hours this season battling dry weather to save top-dollar corn and soybean crops. But did your pivots work like no other? If not, it's time to invest in a reliable, safe, low-maintenance T&L irrigation system. Hydrostatic drives move these durable workhorses continuously across fields. So get an irrigation system that works as hard as you do. Contact T&L Irrigation, your local T&L dealer, or visit us online at TLIRR.com. T&L irrigation systems like no other.
More Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic care first. Studies show that chiropractic is safe, drug-free, and the most effective treatment option for back, neck, and joint pain. It can also help patients of all ages reduce migraines, improve mobility, and maximize athletic performance. Keep the entire family healthy and active with natural, cost-effective chiropractic care. Find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
The name on the mailbox may say Smith, Myers, Baumgartner, or Johnson, but when you choose to plant with Rob Seco, it includes your name too, making you a stockholder in a company that's invested in you. With the simplicity that makes us easy to do business with, relationships that bring more to the table, the technology, traits, and genetics that take on local conditions, and people with the know-how to use it. At Rob Seco, the only stockholder we listen to is you.